Hey, what's up? So now it's the last part and it's the hardest part. So right now we will have these tasks. As you can see, they are stored as an array of strings in our local storage. Now if I want to delete some of them, I can just grab the array, filter it based on this text, and then store it again and render the whole thing. This is fine. But what if I have two tasks with the same string? Now this won't work. You can actually work on the index, but I will show you a better way, a way that simulates what happens usually in database, in any database. So we need to store not an array of strings. We need to store an array of objects. The ID should be something unique. The text should be any kind of text, even if it's duplicate. So this is how our database will look like now. So let's do this. First thing, I will delete this database and go to our index.javascript. So first thing, when we store the tasks here, this is the first task we will store, right? We need to generate an ID. To use this, or to generate this, I will use this library called short ID. This is actually a CDN for it. I will put a link in the description. So let's go to index.html and put it just before our index.javascript. So anything from here will be available inside of here. So let me show you how we can use this. So save your index.html, go here, go to the console. Now short ID.generate. This will always retain a unique function. Okay. So let's use it here, and this is store an array of object. The text will be txt and the ID will be the ID. You can actually make it shorter by doing txt then ID. Now format it and this like this. So this will be pointing there to this and with the same key, and ID will be points to the generated value here. So this is in case of a new task. Now to store new tasks that on top of the old tasks, we are usually pushing just an array, just an element, a string element into the array. Now we need to push an object, and the ID will be short ID.generate. This is now formatted. This is for generation. Oops. So this is now for saving the task. Now for inserting page into task, we need to modify this. So first thing, we will create an object, or you will pass here just the task object, and what I will display the task dot, as you can see, txt, like this. And now when we click on the create function with the create button, we won't display it like this. I think it's a better approach. I will remove this. I will save the task. Then I will create a function called render data. This will be just a function that does not accept anything. It will empty this element, the section. So inner HTML will be empty. This will empty the whole thing. Then I will re-render this using this logic. So I will cut this, put it here. So I will get the task. If they exist, I will render them again, and I will pass each task to this function. So yeah, each time I save a task, I will re-render the whole thing. So format, save, let's test it. So no errors at the start. Now create one. I think our application, we have this array of elements, but where they are not being displayed because we need to call render data at the start for our application. That's a thing. And we need to call render data each time we save a task, right? Each time we save it, empty the section and re-render the whole thing again to render the new data, and we render the data at the start. So this is it at the start. Let me remove it. By mistake I saved one without the text. So save this one, save this one. So very nice. So now we need to attach event listener to all these buttons. So the thing we need to do is to dynamically attach, using a for loop, an event listener for each one of these, and if this one is clicked, I will do a specific thing only for this task. So let's do it. So what I will go in the render data, each time I render the data, I will use the document.query selector all, and let me show it to you in the browser. Right? I think it's better than we'll just copy paste. So query selector all, we need specific class to work with. So for each success button, or for each button to mark it as a result, I will add a class success and here a class delete. So let's save this. Let's give it the class success. So this will return a node list with all the buttons, these buttons. So if you expand this, so as you can see, this will mark these buttons. Now there we have the for each node we can attach an event listener. I will just copy this, add event listener. This will be click. Now I will use a function just to alert. Now each time I click on one of them, we will have an alert. Let me refresh the page. Now do it again, but I won't really alert. I will use the function keyword. One of the differences, not the only one, between normal functions like this and raw functions, that this keyword will have meaning here. So let me console log this. So this will output the button that got clicked. Now let's click on this. This will be that one. So yeah, that's one of the reasons or one of the differences between normal functions and raw functions. Normal functions, these are bounded into a new context. In this case, it's the button that have been clicked. So this is actually very handy. So let me copy this and put it at the end. Each time, and let me format, attach click event listener on all of these buttons. Now I need to somehow, when on a click, pass this task data into this event listener so I can do something with it. So what I will do, I will store it in a specific way, which might look weird. So data dash, this is the data attribute. So we have a class attribute, we have a lot of attributes, but if you want to add dynamic attributes, you will use that data attribute. Data attribute start with data, then dash, then anything you want. I will call it task dash object. This will be, I will put a normal string or single string, because when we use JSON.stringify and stringify the object, convert it to a task, stringify the task, convert it into a string, this will put the keys inside a double quote quotations, and if we have them here like this will break. So I'll just have single quote. Okay, I can actually show it to you with double quotes. I'll show you that this breaks. Let me now go here and look at this. I mean, even the browser can't understand what this is. I mean, the colors are wrong, but if I have single quotes, if you notice that each key has a single double quote on it, and we have this double quote at the start, which breaks everything. Now single quote will make it fine. This will be now a valid string. As you can see, the colors are fine. Yeah, that's just a simple way to distinguish. So we stored each object inside this data attribute. So what we can do, so this is actually, if you notice, this is the parent for these two buttons. So each time one of these gets clicked, I will go to its parent and grab the data. So console log this dot parent element. It's undefined. Pretty sure I wrote this wrong way. Yeah, that's always the case with me. So as you can see, this is the parent element, and this is the data for this task, this is the data for that task, and so on. And even if I type in U1, remember that I will remove everything from here and re-render the whole thing, then attach the event listeners again, so this actually will even work, which is nice. And this is our tasks now. Okay, so we can continue. So what we need to do, we need to get this data task object. I'm pretty sure we have like a property called, let me just, a way to debug this is to assign something inside the window object. So click here, so a is equal to this, so a dot data set. Sorry, I should assign this dot parent, and then our a will be equal, let me remove all of this. When you remove this, click on one, now a is equal to the parent element. Now a dot data set, it will be equal or to this property or this object. Inside of it we will have a key. It's anything after the data, as you can see, as a camel case. So if I put, so yeah, let me console log this and change this from task object to task any, just to prove it to you. Now click on this, so as you can see, task any. So let's return it to task object. Now I think to log it might be, we might use something like this. Yeah, we have it, but it's a string, so we need to parse it, right? So const data will be equal to json.parse, and let's like this. I just formatted the code, okay? And let's now console log the data. As you can see, it's working fine. Well, now what we need to do is to mark this as finished. To mark it as finished, what I will do, I will pass it to the save data, and I will have like another property here which will be optional. I will call it is finished, not property, another argument here or parameter. Now if we already have tasks, which should be the case if this is exist, what I will do, I will put it here. If this is actually exists, if this is true, I'll put true, else I'll put false. And what I will do here, I will get the original tasks. As you can see, I have them here, right? So tasks dot, or I will remove this one. We don't need it here. I just need to store or override the original data, right? Let me format. So I'll do something like this. I already have them here, so these are the tasks. I'll make it a lit so I can I'll just leave it like this. So local storage to set item like this, but I will filter these. So filter, so each element will have a text and ID. If ID of this not equal to data.id, then return it. At the end I need to return the same element, or what I will do, I will just map. That's where I will save the positions for these tasks. So if by default just return the element, so if data.id is equal to element.id, element.mark or is finished equal true. Let me format it now, and that should be it. Let's test it. So we clicked on this one, so everything is null. For some reason I messed up something. I think I need to do this again. So let's remove all of this, add some tasks, So we have these. Now click on one, null null. I think it's not else. I need always to return the element. I mean, I think this is confusing. So let's const new data will be equal to this without the JSON.stringify. Let's console that. New data. And save it using stringify. So remove this, refresh the page. Yeah, as you can see, it works. Pretty sure it's for this one, because I added else. Yeah, it will mess up something. So it's like this. So this is the new data, and some of them will be marked as is finished, and the order will stay always the same since we are using map. So now what I need to do when displaying them, I need to mark this as maybe if it's like if task.isFinished exists, I will give it some bootstrap class. So let's go to bootstrap. I think I will go to the utilities. So let's go to shadow. I will give it this one. What about that? I mean, it's simple change, but what I will do, I will inject variable here. So task.isFinished, if that is true, put this string, else put empty string. So let's go and check it. So as you can see, we have two that are finished. So maybe you have an error. No? Yeah, sure, because when we update this, we need to re-render the whole page again, right? So what I will call render data after setting the items here. So now, and actually I think we have a class in Bootstrap called like PG dark and text white or white text. Oh yeah. So these, I will put these classes as with the shadow as for the finished ones. So first thing, let me delete the whole thing and the whole database and start from scratch. Refresh. So these are to-dos. Now when I click save, this will be marked as done with the shadow, with the text. Yeah, or at least, I mean, it's not that bad. But now we need to do the delete. The delete will be a similar one to this. So let's add a body for this one, like this. Let me format it. And I need to do the same thing, but for the delete. So for each node, you need to attach the event listener, but this will be delete. Right? Now let's get the data and get the tasks. And you will do the same exact thing, but you won't use map, you will use filter. And if this is not exist, return it. So this will be actually shorter. And that should be it, as you can see. But let's make this a little bit more simpler. As you can see, we are almost having the same thing. So I will create a function here, const handle delete and update. This will be a function that accepts a type, and it will do the same exact thing. So it will be this function, right? So I will cut this and assign it here. You need to use the function keyword, so this will be, or this will have a meaning, and this will be type. So if type is filter, or you know something, this will be the function name. So you can, this is a property inside the tasks array, so you can actually put it dynamically like this. And this will be the callback function. This will be this one here. Oops. This will be this one here. So each time I will pass the callback function that you have, that you passed here, and that's it. Yeah. Or you know something, I will just hard code it, make this simpler. So yeah, if type equal filter, I will do this, else I will do the map thing. And what I need to do for each time, I will just pass this function here and pass to it the type, and pass this function here, pass to it. No, this one will be filter for the delete, this one will be nothing. But the thing is, this will be executed once this is reached, so you need to actually have a function that retains this as a function. So retain function as well. It will be like this, remove the name and remove the params. Format this, and this should work. Looks super weird, but as you can see, it just works. So yeah, like I said, this is the hardest part. You can actually delete a completed one. So yeah, we can actually make this maybe a little bit simpler, but yeah, I think this is fine for now. So yeah, that's basically it. It's really not that hard, but the only complex part is this deletion and marking it as finished. We had these two. In the case of success, we will use the function returned from this function, but we won't pass anything as the type, so this won't be filter. We will use map, so we will map the original data, and adding is finished is equal to true. Else, in the case of delete, we will use the filter, so we will filter the tasks that have been, or the user tried to delete. So actually there is a lot of things that you can improve and actually maybe fix in the UI. It's not that beautiful. I think that might be a really good practice to you. And if you understand this, all of this, maybe the way I explained it's not that good, but if you understand it, this is like might be the basics of most of the applications that you will build in your or in the normal software development career. This is it. You'll display some data from the database using a for loop. You will attach some event listeners. You will delete, update, and that's it. That's most of the stuff. But these kind of logic will happen in the backend. And here we just simulate it in the front end. So yeah, that's it. So final part: get, checkout, branch, handle, delete, and update. Check out branch. I wrote it in a bad way. That was a typo. Get out. Finally, I got add, get commit, handle delete, and update. Get push origin, handle delete and update, and let's go and merge that, and that will be it. Hopefully this was useful. I have seen a lot of courses or boot camps that actually requires you to do something like this. So maybe this will be useful to the people who are attending these or trying to learn, maybe, or trying to understand how they can link all of these things together: HTML, CSS, Bootstrap, JavaScript, all of that. Local storage. So new pull request to master, yes, from handed delete and update. Same stuff. Create PR, assign yourself, labels, enhancement. Okay, we didn't create an issue for it. It's okay. I think we are over that now. Merge, confirm merge, and that's it. Delete branch. So yeah, I think in the next video I will show you like maybe the basics of adding a readme, but that might be it. I think I said that I will show you how we can add it. Yeah, I will show you how I will add this readme, so anyone can see this repo, knows where to go, and things like that. Okay, thank you, bye.